What's up, everyone? Ron P from WiseGuyBets here, coming to you with some DFS picks. 7/22/21, 8 games on the slate. We're only about an hour away from the first game, so let's get right into it. At pitcher, I'm going for some value tonight. I'm going with Tanner Hook, Boston, 13.7 projection. 3-point innings pitched per game. He's probably been in the bullpen, or just had a couple of starts. I haven't done too much additional research on him. He's getting about 3.3 innings, I said, per game pitching wise. His last 3 games, fantasy point wise, is 6, 4, and 12. Against the Yankees, small sample size, they're batting 125 against him, 2 for 16. For 5,300, I want to try to get him in my lineups. Maybe in tournaments, not in cash, but in tournament, I think he's worth taking a shot at. Let's look at the catcher position. We're looking at Christian Vasquez for Boston, another player from this Boston game. It's 2,900 on DraftKings. His projection for the night is 7 fantasy points. He's getting around 3.5 bats per game. His last 3 games, fantasy point wise, 0, 7, and 5. He's 5 for 13 against the pitcher he's facing, batting 385, 4 singles, 1 home run. I think he's a good choice in this position. So Mr. Vasquez is someone we're going to try to get in our lineup tonight at the catcher position. Let's look at first base. At first base, we're looking at Bobby Dalbec for Boston. I think Boston players are going to be a popular choice tonight. You can maybe looking at getting them in your stack, or you can probably look at the second best team available to get in your stack, because I think the Boston stacks are going to be pretty popular tonight. He's 2,400 on DraftKings. His projection is 7.6 fantasy points for this game. He's batting 217 on the year. He's getting around 3.3 at bats per game. His last 3 games are 0, 0, and 7. So he's coming off a 0-0 with a 7. He's 1 for 5 against the pitcher he's facing tonight. 1 single out of 5 at bats. His last 5 against New York is 4, 2, 3, 0, 0. I like him in this spot. I like his salary. And we don't have too much to choose from at first base tonight, unfortunately. So I'm going to go for value at the first base position. Let's look at the second base position. We're looking at Jean Segura for Philadelphia. His projection on night is 8.4 fantasy points. He's batting 312 on the year. He's getting about 3.9 at bats per game. His last 3 games, fantasy point wise, is 7, 7, and 16. He's 13 for 51 against the pitcher he's facing, batting 255, 10 singles, 1 double, 2 home runs. He's 3,800 on DraftKings. His last 5 against Atlanta is 23, 13, 0, and 17. I like those stats probably better than anything about it. He's had decent success against this pitcher, and he's in a good position. The over-under run total projection for the night is 8.5. We're looking at 5 at-bats probably, so I think Mr. Segura can eclipse the 8.4 projection points that we need him to eclipse tonight. I need him to get 10. Every player I choose, I need to get 10. That's what I shoot for. At least 10 out of every player, and then you get those players sometimes we just go for 20 or 30 or 25 or whatever. But I need at least 10 points from every player that I select. Let's look at third base. Third base, we're looking at Josh Donaldson for Minnesota. His projection for tonight is 7.8 fantasy points. Batting 250 on the year. He's getting around 3.3 at bats per game. His last 3 games, fantasy point wise, is 2, 19, and 7. He's 5,000 on DraftKings. He's 3 for 7 against the pitcher he's facing. 2 singles, 1 home run. The over-under total in this game is 9. His last 5 against the Angels are 12, 9, 3, and 8. I like him in his position tonight. I like his success against the pitcher that he's facing. And I think he will exceed his 7.8 projected fantasy points for tonight. Let's look at the shortstop position. At shortstop, we're looking at, and this is a possible core play for me. We're looking at Xander Bogaerts for Boston, another player from the Boston, New York game. His projection is 8.5. Fantasy points, 15 homers on the season, batting 312, 3.8 bats per game. His last 3 games are 10, 0, and 0. I like him coming off 0-0. and he's going to produce something tonight. I do see at least 10 fantasy points out of Mr. Bogarts tonight. His salary is $5,300. He's 9 for 19 against the pitcher he's facing, batting .474, 7 singles, 2 doubles. His last 5 against New York are 11, 17, 12, 4, and 10. I think he bounces back pretty good tonight. As I said, I like him as a possible core play. And when I say core, I mean you can play him in cash and tournaments. Let's look at the outfield position. In the outfield, I'm going with, I thought I had him selected, but I didn't. I'm going with Kike Hernandez. I may have went with him last night. I think I did. He had 23 fantasy points last night, but he's in a good position again tonight. He has an on-base percentage against lefties of .781, and I like that. I think that's good, and he can get to Mr. Montgomery, the pitcher for New York. He's 3,800 on DraftKings. His projection for the night is 8.2, 14 homers on the season. His last 3 games at bats are 3.7 at bats per game. His last 3 games fantasy point wise is 0, 39, 23. I just like him in this position. I like the leadoff position. I can see him getting 5 at bats. I can see him making some things happen. His last 5 against the Yankees are 4, 21, 2, 5, and 0. That's something to look at too. Hasn't been too successful against the Yankees, but I do like him in this position tonight. I like it. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. It's 9.5 projection. I think it can go much higher than that. So Mr. Hernandez is someone I definitely want to try to get into my lineup tonight in the outfield. If my picks help you, go ahead and hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to my channel. Until the next video, peace.